It would be great to have someone who could do our work for us, right? Someone to prevent us from making mistakes. Someone to assist with our routine professionally and allow us to devote our time to communicating with our closest people. If only we could get results without wasting our time for nothing. Unfortunately, it's impossible in real life. But wait, Light Forex Social Trading. Spend your time doing what really matters to you.
Good morning. It's the 9th of April 2019. It's a minute past 8 CET time. Piotr is saying good morning, and we are on the Light Forex YouTube channel. Let's start with risk warning, guys. Please bear in mind trading FX, trading cryptos on margin carries a high level of risk, may not be suitable for all investors who can sustain a loss of some or all your initial investments. So please do not invest the money that you cannot afford to lose. Okay. Just the reminder, we are going to cover New York Open today as well. So we are gonna, during the afternoon meeting, of course, we are gonna to have more time to discuss specific charts or particular charts. For now, we are going to go through majors, we are going to go through indices, and if we are going to have a time, we are going to have a look on the Bitcoin, where bulls are trying to hold 5,000. So let's try to step by step. Let's start with the agenda, what is going on. To be honest with you, nothing special today during the European session. We just have Italian retail sales, then late US session, late New York session, beginning of the next Tokyo session. We do have FOMC members, Quarles and Clarida. So overall, from the calendar perspective, nothing extraordinary, and I wouldn't be surprised we are going to see quiet day. Then tomorrow it's gonna be much more interesting, in my opinion. It should be more interesting, and we are going to have two meetings tomorrow again. We are going to cover pre-London market, and we are going to cover ECB on Wednesday, right? So just don't forget ECB tomorrow. From that perspective, from ECB perspective, I'm not surprised that on the option market we've got plenty of expiration going on later today at 10 a.m. New York. And yeah, taking into consideration we are trading right now 1260. So let's start from the upside. In between 1260, 1275, we do have 2 billion, right? 1260, 1275, 2 billion. Then in between 1245, 1255, we've got 3 billion. So all these levels get big chance to work as magnet. And finally, we do have 2.2 billion in between 1225 and psychological 12 level. So plenty of expiration in euro dollar, and we are going to discuss euro dollar in a second. Then on the dollar yen, taking into consideration we are trading 11.35 right now, so the whole 40 pips zone, the whole 40 pips zone in between 111.40 and 111, we do have around 4 billion in expiration. So most probably we are gonna to get max 40 pips range till New York open, till the option expiration at 10 a.m. New York. So probably dollar yen is gonna be boring. So let's switch to the charts, and let's start with dollar index. Just one moment. Let's have a look where we are from the dollar perspective, and then we will switch to the particular pairs like euro dollar, dollar yen, pound dollar. All right, so that's the dollar index, that's the daily chart. All right, bulls managed to get back into this range, into this last ECB range. All right, that's the last ECB range, the candle over here, that's the last ECB range. So that's the positive from the dollar bulls perspective, right? Currently, for the last 7-8 days, taking into the consideration only opening and closing levels, right? We are trading within the very tight range, right? We are trying to break to the upside, we are trying to go lower, but overall we are within 97.40, 97 range, right? In that case, I'm not gonna be surprised if we are gonna to see the attempt to move a little bit higher, at least to try to hunt some more stops. All right, so the attempt to break higher may bring 97.80 into play. All right, attempt to break lower, and we may retest the bottom of this ECB day, last ECB day, right? In that case, so how I see the things, to be honest with you, if we are gonna to try to check some stats, right? The retail traders, based on, for example, let's say my FX book, they are already positioned to the upside, right? So, and on the other hand, COP data is showing that there are more and more shorts on euro, right? So taking into the consideration COT data, COT data, right? One can argue that it's a euro shorts is a crowded trade, and because of these large speculators, they are selling euro, so it might be base for some short squeeze. But on the other hand, when I'm checking the retail directions, right, they already long euro dollar. So I think we might not see breakout higher as long as the retails are sitting on the long side, right? So I think that we might see at least attempt to break lower, if not break down and go towards psychological 110 level. In that case, in this dollar index chart, that might bring retest of the supply from the higher time frame we discussed last time, at least 98.50, right, based on the monthly and quarterly charts. So and taking into consideration that we have this resistance, some supply visible here, and we don't have such a strong rejection. We were trying to go lower here, right? We are trying to go lower after the last ECB, right? But then because of the range, bulls managed to get back, and we are retesting this ECB range again, okay? And I think that, yeah, we may see today, for example, because of the option expiration, we may see attempt to push dollar lower. On the other hand, euro dollar higher, just because of the option expiration. And we are going to discuss euro dollar in a second. We have quite nice supply higher towards 113, so we may look for some stops, right? And that would bring us the lower shadow over here. But again, till the end of the day, it might be just the lower shadow. I do not expect euro dollar breakout ahead of ECB tomorrow. More consolidation, a little bit higher, a little bit lower, trying to position, the big players will try to position themselves into the ECB. So that's how I see overall dollar index, as euro dollar is the strongest within the basket. So of course, meeting tomorrow, ECB meeting tomorrow, is gonna be important from that perspective. So let's get back into the platform. Okay, and let's start with euro dollar. All right. So again, we know where we are. We discussed some levels. Let's start with weekly. We discussed some levels. There was we drew the line last week, right? And based on the weekly close, we hold that line. So I'm not surprised we are attempting to go higher. Now, the price action we seen 3 and 4 weeks ago. So this upper shadow, right? It might be that we are gonna to see retest, or we are gonna to see that market will try to finish some business based on this attempt to create swing high. Okay, what was the high over here 4 weeks ago? 13,443, 13,443, 443, 443. Okay, right? So there was a not ideal swing high. So we may at some point, I would say that's from the bear's perspective on euro dollar, that's the max they can allow bulls, right? But I truly believe what we discussed a second ago, that based on the opening closing levels, in that case we are talking about the levels closer to 113. That's what we discussed last week. That's where the possible supply resides, and That's how I see the things compared to what we've seen 25th of the March, so the late March, right? So that's the possible supply. That's the last ECB day, I believe. So we may retest, right, the previous ECB high. In that case, it's around 113. So we are talking about this option expiration today. So I wouldn't be surprised market will try to take out yesterday high, right, towards 113, some stop hunting, and then switching to the lower time frame. All right. I do believe that we might see some kind of the failure in between 1290, 1310, taking into consideration the levels highlighted on the chart. Of course, we are going to have more time during our afternoon meeting, so we are going to get into details during the afternoon meeting, where we are going to cover New York Open, right? Why I see the attempt, why I see that there is a quite good possibility we are gonna to see at least attempt to move higher. Just we can try to imagine the inverted head and shoulders over here. So if we are gonna to make the simplest measure, right, it should bring us towards 113 I've mentioned second ago, right? So from that perspective, so there is no rush trying to be on a short side here. Smart approach is needed, and that's what I think we are gonna to get over here. Okay. So what we may also, if you don't like inverted head and shoulders idea, then you can try to look out for this flag, for example, right? There was an attempt to go lower during the Tokyo session, right? The first 2 hours, first 3 hours, market was trying to go lower with strong rejection. Now getting closer to the London Open, it might be the case we may look for more stops to the downside. It might be choppy because of the option expiration, because of the ECB tomorrow, so we might see some choppy price action. If not flag, if we are going to assume that there was a range, so not talking about the flag, but there was a range, and we are gonna to break lower, then we should make at least the same distance to the downside, right, after the breakdown. So there is a 1235, 1225 good intraday demand zone in my opinion. So from the bulls perspective, I'm not going to chase the market from both sides, right? I may consider longs on a pullback, on a deeper pullback towards based on this range breakdown, so not based on the flag, but based on the range breakdown, all right? Let's say that's the main range, right? After the breakdown, the same distance of the as the main range, so 1235, 1225. I may consider intraday longs, or if we are gonna to see attempt to break higher, right? We have this 1295 and we know that psychological 13, maybe some stops above, so I wouldn't be surprised to see the reversal around 95, 1305. We are going to watch, we are going to discuss during the afternoon meeting, right? So that's how I see the things based on the intraday perspective. And as it's not the we don't have a clear direction on euro dollar, right? That's why I consider both sides trying to be active on the both sides. I'm looking for some possible extremes, right? So again, 1235, 1225 on euro dollar to the downside, where I may consider longs, or to the upside, where I may consider selling rallies towards 95, 1305, maybe 1310 here on euro dollar. Okay, dollar yen, worth to watch. But because of the option expiration today, again, I do believe we are gonna to see the boring price action at least till the option expiration. There was very interesting price action during the Tokyo session. We are trying to break higher through the late late New Year activity rejection, right? So we are retesting yesterday low right now. Again, 111, 111.40, plenty of expiration today. Why is worth to watch? Why is worth to watch dollar yen after the expiration? Because it's very interesting where we are right now, taking into the consideration the bearish activity, right? To the left side over here, right? And we were trying to break higher, all right, but bulls were not able to keep that momentum to the upside. Momentum stalled, and some may argue it's head and shoulders. I would rather say something similar to head and shoulders, but anyway, let's leave this pattern. Let's watch what we have to the left side, and we may try to activate this supply based on the price action to the left side. And we are right now within the very good level to try to push the price lower. What's gonna be the first possible demand in case we are really break down here from the intraday perspective? The next possible demand is around 110.80, 110.60. We are talking about the levels over here. All right, so trying to break through this, and that may open the levels below 111. So yeah, it's gonna be worth to watch the price action during the London session, but I do not expect any fireworks. Based on this whole expiration, what I may try to look for, if we are gonna to see attempt to break higher on dollar yen above 1140, right? And if we are gonna to see 1155, something around this Tokyo high, I may switch to the lower time frame, and I may try to join this party because I do believe that everything below 111.40 is gonna work as a magnet for the price. So if we are gonna to see higher levels, attempt to go higher, as I mentioned, 50, 55, that's where I may try to consider some shorts into the expiration, right? That's how I see dollar yen here. Pound, we just retested 5th of April, attempt to move higher and then break down. So we just retested this. So let me show you what I'm talking about. We just retested this one. All right, so it's better visible on the 15-minute chart, and we are talking about this over here, right? Two things. We broke through the yesterday high, and we do have the pullback right now, so we are retesting the breakout point, right? So the bulls are looking for an opportunity to go long. All right, so if you are a bullish pound, you are looking for the opportunity here to try to join the party to the upside. There is a, and we are testing the possible demand right now, right? But I would be very careful here because it's a pound. I would rather look for a little bit lower levels. All right. Something towards 130.65, 130.50. And if we are gonna to give up here, then the weekly open and yesterday low as a next zone over here. That's for what, from the intraday perspective, bulls are looking for, right? On the other hand, if we are gonna to check this from the bear's perspective, all right, what I'm gonna to look for, I'm going to look for this high, today's high. We are talking about 30.95, attempt to break higher, failure, and sell off, right? So that's what I'm gonna to look for on the pound over here. The thing is that from the higher perspective, just 1 second. From the higher perspective, there are still mixing signals, right? From the bear's perspective, we still got the chance to try to trade this weakness. Let me show you what I'm talking about, right? So I think we may try to still trade this as long as we are below 31.50, 32 based on a daily close, right? So we may try to trade this lower highs with a powerful breakout to the downside, and of course I'm not talking about the intraday right now. I'm talking about the medium-term perspective, and breakdown here would bring us 26.50. On the other hand, bulls are gonna to look for the upside break towards 33, right? We have this whole Brexit mess, right? But I have to be honest here, frankly, we are still above 130, right? So bulls are not giving up. So that's the positive. Usually April, based on the seasonality, usually April is not bad for the pound. That's another thing, right? And the third thing, we were trying few times break through 30.2970 and it holds, right? So there is an opportunity, we may try to squeeze some shorts, right? And if we are, as a bulls, we are going to close above 31.50, 32, that may bring 33, 33.50, and above it might open 35, 36, 37. So there is a whole mess Brexit related. There is no breakdown even because of this. So yeah, if it doesn't want to fall, there is a probability we may see a little bit higher prices. But anyway, from intraday perspective, bulls are looking for a little bit lower level than where we are right now, right? Towards 50, 65.50. If not, then watching weekly open and yesterday low. The bears looking to reject attempt to break higher above today's high, right? But if we are gonna to take out the high from the 5th of April and we are going to manage above this, that's bullish, right? That's what we discussed based on the higher time frame. Okay, we will see how it end up. Now, Nasdaq. Congratulations to all of you. We were discussing Nasdaq and what we might see on Thursday, and exactly that's what happened. So it was the retest of the low of the Wednesday open, but it was also the retest of this breakout over here, right? So we were discussing last week that if we are going to see attempt to move lower on the Nasdaq, so based on the daily chart, it might end up only with the lower shadow and market may try to go higher, and exactly that's what happened here. So because of this price action, we know what is the defense line right now from the bulls perspective. So daily close below Thursday and Wednesday low, that's gonna be bearish, right? So how we may try to look at this from the bearish perspective. Either bears will try to trap bulls, meaning that we are going to see another rally above the high from the September, October last year over here, rejection, right? And then we may try to join on a retest of that high, right? That might be the first scenario. Or we are not gonna to see new high. We are gonna to cook something over here, sudden move to the downside over today, tomorrow, close below, retest of that high and move lower, right? So that's the two possibilities from the bear's perspective. From the bull's perspective, we have to hold on a closing basis Thursday, Wednesday low from last week, right? And with no volume, trying to push it higher based on this small channel. Slowly but surely, boom, 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 8,000 and higher, right? That's the task for bulls. So key level, key zone, last Thursday low, Wednesday open. As long as we are above, bulls are controlling the market. But what we discussed a second ago, there are two possible scenarios from bearish perspective, how they may want to try to trap bulls here on Nasdaq. And the last one here during this pre-London market preview, so we are gonna to check what is going on Bitcoin. And the bulls, to be honest with you, doing well. We were discussing the chart a few times already. We hit the first target based on the ranges, right? We broke through the top of the range. We are trying to hold 5,000. We've got nice rally over here, right? We're trying to make a base, So I'm not gonna be surprised if we are gonna to see Riley base Riley and retest of 5,800, 6,000, right? If we are gonna, as a bulls, if we are gonna to fail here, then we may try to double the current range to the downside, right? And that's gonna be retest of 4,400, 4,200. So the top of the last weakness we've seen to the left side. That's something I've been explaining last time. That's it today from me. Have a great morning. Have a great London session. Don't be trapped. Don't chase the market. Be careful. Be patient. You are more than welcome to join me later today at 2 p.m. CET time. We are going to cover New York Open. That's it from me for now. Thank you very much. Goodbye.
It would be great to have someone who could do our work for us, right? Someone to prevent us from making mistakes. Someone to assist with our routine professionally and allow us to devote our time to communicating with our closest people. If only we could get results without wasting our time for nothing. Unfortunately, it's impossible in real life. But wait, Light Forex Social Trading. Spend your time doing what really matters to you.